The security doors slid shut with a cold metallic sound, and the entire lobby went silent when the CEO was escorted out. Phones froze mid-air. Conversations died halfway through sentences. No one understood why the most powerful woman in the building was being treated like a stranger, until they noticed her hands moving, trembling slightly, forming words no one around her bothered to understand. "Please call my father." That was the moment everything changed. Earlier that morning, the glass tower on Riverside Avenue was alive with its usual rhythm. Executives in tailored suits hurried across marble floors, assistants balanced coffee cups and tablets, and security guards stood tall near the elevators. In the middle of it all was Daniel Reyes, a janitor in a faded blue uniform, quietly pushing his cleaning cart from floor to floor. Most people barely noticed him. Some didn't notice him at all. Daniel was used to being invisible. He had learned that invisibility was sometimes safer. As a single father raising his deaf daughter, Lily, he had faced enough judgment to last a lifetime. Losing his wife years earlier had shattered him, but Lily had become his reason to keep going. Every morning, he woke her up gently, signing good morning with a smile even when his heart felt heavy. Every night, he helped her with homework, fingers dancing in sign language, reminding her she was strong, smart, and never alone. That morning, Lily had come to work with him. Her school was closed due to a sudden plumbing issue, and Daniel couldn't afford to miss a shift. He promised her she could sit quietly in the break room with her books and drawings. She nodded, smiling, trusting him the way only a child trusts a parent. But things don't always go as planned. Lily wandered out of the break room while Daniel was cleaning a conference hall on the executive floor. The world she entered was loud, rushed, and unfamiliar. She didn't hear the sharp footsteps behind her or the annoyed voices growing closer. When a security guard stopped her abruptly, she flinched, unable to hear his words, unable to explain herself. She tried to sign. The guard frowned, impatient. He mistook her silence for defiance. That was when the CEO stepped out of the elevator. Emma Whitmore was known throughout the industry as brilliant, demanding, and emotionally distant. She had built her company from the ground up and fought her way through a world that rarely gave second chances. To most people, she was intimidating. To some, she was unapproachable, but when Emma saw Lily's hands moving frantically, her expression changed. Emma understood sign language. She knelt in front of Lily, ignoring the stares around her, and gently signed, "Are you lost?" Lily's eyes widened in relief. Tears filled them as she signed back, "I'm looking for my father. He works here. Please call my father." Daniel came running seconds later, panic written all over his face. When he saw Lily crying, surrounded by security and executives, his heart nearly stopped. He rushed to her side, signing quickly, "Are you okay? Did someone hurt you?" Emma watched them communicate, something deep stirring inside her chest. The way Daniel's hands moved with care, the way Lily relaxed the moment she saw him, it was love, pure and unmistakable. But love didn't matter to the building's rules. Security stepped forward and informed Emma she was interfering with protocol. A child was on a restricted floor. Someone had to be held responsible. When Emma calmly explained the situation and insisted the child posed no threat, the head of security hesitated, then made a decision that shocked everyone. He asked Emma to step aside. When she refused, they escorted her out. That walk through the lobby felt longer than any boardroom battle Emma had ever faced. People whispered. Cameras appeared. For the first time in years, she felt powerless, not because she lacked authority, but because she had chosen humanity over hierarchy. Outside, Emma stood in silence, hands clenched. Memories she had buried long ago resurfaced. Her own father had been a janitor. He had worked nights, cleaning offices like this one, hands cracked, back bent, pride bruised. When Emma was a child, he used to tell her, "No job makes a person small. Being unseen does." Inside the building, Daniel was being questioned harshly. He apologized over and over, signing to Lily to stay calm while his voice trembled. He expected to lose his job. He expected worse. This was how life usually worked for people like him. Then the doors opened. Emma walked back in. This time, she wasn't alone. Behind her were members of the board, legal advisors, and the company's founder plaque gleaming above them all. The head of security went pale. Emma's voice was steady, but it carried weight now. She explained who Lily was, who Daniel was, and what it meant to create a workplace that punished compassion. She spoke about inclusion, about dignity, about seeing people instead of positions. She ended with a sentence that silenced the room. This building exists because of people like him. And no one gets escorted out for choosing kindness. The decision was immediate. Daniel kept his job. Lily was welcomed. The security policy was rewritten that same day. Mandatory sign language training and accessibility programs were announced within the hour. But the real change happened quietly. Emma later invited Daniel and Lily to her office. Not to lecture. Not to apologize. Just to listen. She offered Lily a scholarship through the company's foundation. She offered Daniel a promotion into facilities management, with hours that allowed him to be present for his daughter. Daniel struggled to speak through tears. Lily signed thank you, her small hands full of gratitude as they left. Lily turned back and signed one last sentence to Emma. You listened. Emma smiled, her eyes wet, and in that moment, a building full of glass and steel felt warmer than it ever had before, because sometimes the most powerful words are not spoken aloud. They are signed with love, defended with courage, and answered by a world finally willing to see. The next morning, the building felt different. Daniel noticed it the moment he stepped through the revolving doors. People who had never looked at him before now nodded politely. Some even smiled. It made him uncomfortable at first, as if the air itself had shifted overnight. He tightened his grip on his cleaning cart, reminding himself that kindness, like silence, could disappear just as quickly. Lily held his hand, her small fingers warm and steady. Emma Whitmore had personally arranged for Lily to spend the day in the company's learning center until her school reopened. For Lily, the place felt like a dream: bright rooms, colorful books, and screens that responded to touch. For Daniel, it felt like borrowed time, a moment of calm before reality returned. On the executive floor, Emma stood alone in her office, staring out at the city. The headlines from the night before still echoed in her mind. A CEO escorted out for defending a janitor's child. Public reaction was divided. Some called her brave. Others said she had blurred professional boundaries. The board had supported her decision, but support didn't erase doubt. She had built her life on control. Yesterday, she had lost it, and somehow gained something more valuable. Back in the maintenance corridor, Daniel was called into human resources. His chest tightened with every step. Lily squeezed his hand, sensing his fear even without hearing it. He signed to her that everything would be fine, though he wasn't sure he believed it himself. Inside the meeting room, Emma was waiting. Daniel froze. Old instincts told him to lower his eyes, to apologize again, to make himself smaller. But Emma stood up immediately, walked around the table, and signed slowly so Lily could understand. Good morning. Lily's face lit up. She signed back, smiling shyly. Emma turned to Daniel and spoke gently. She told him the company wanted to learn from what happened, not hide it. She admitted that policies written in silence often hurt the loudest in ways no one hears. She asked Daniel to share his story. At first, his words came out broken. He spoke about losing his wife, about learning sign language at night after exhausting shifts, about the fear of raising a deaf child in a world that rarely waited long enough to understand. As he spoke, Lily watched him, pride shining in her eyes. When Daniel finished, the room was quiet. Emma revealed something she had never shared with employees before. Her father had been a janitor too. He had taught her sign language because his closest friend was deaf. That language had stayed with her long after her father was gone. It had saved her yesterday and reminded her who she was, but not everyone in the building welcomed the change. Later that afternoon, whispers grew louder. A few senior managers complained about favoritism. One even questioned whether a janitor belonged in conversations about company policy. Daniel overheard fragments of those words while cleaning near the conference rooms. Each sentence landed like a familiar wound. That evening, Lily asked him if he had done something wrong. Daniel knelt beside her, signing carefully. No. Some people are just afraid of what they don't understand. The next day, Emma called a company-wide meeting. The auditorium was full. Daniel stood near the back, ready to slip away unnoticed. But Emma stopped mid-speech and called him forward. His heart pounded as hundreds of eyes turned toward him. She didn't ask him to speak. She asked him to sign. Daniel hesitated, then looked at Lily in the front row. She nodded, encouraging him. With shaking hands, he began to sign Lily's favorite sentence, "My father is my hero." Emma had an interpreter voice the words for everyone to hear. Silence fell, heavy and sincere. Then, slowly, people stood. One by one. Applause filled the room, not loud at first, but growing until it echoed off the walls. In that moment, Daniel realized something had truly changed. He was no longer invisible, and neither was his daughter. But change is a way of being tested. As the applause faded, a man in the front row remained seated, arms crossed, eyes cold. He watched Emma carefully, already planning his next move. The real challenge, Daniel didn't know yet, was just beginning.